Can everyone see the screen? Great. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I will be talking about Freeing Your Feet, which was a collaboration with Basic Income Lab Network, and the project started in November and ended in January 2021. In this talk, I will give just a quick introduction about my own practice, how did Freeing Your Feet started, my own participation in the project, the illustration series. I'll show the illustration series and the process of the invitation, and why visuals and why participation. Yeah, if I will take more than 10 minutes, please stop me. So just a quick introduction about my own practice, because I believe it has to do a lot with the project. So I practice art through editorial caricatures and participatory drawings, comics and experimental videos and things in between. And my daily caricatures focus on Middle Eastern issues that already intersect with many global issues such as refugees, corruption, power, human existence, and narratives. And I guess my passion for this type of art led me to experiment with different methods and materials. I strongly believe that creating these kind of visuals can be a very powerful tool to have an effect or pressure on making decisions or discuss many topics. So in 2016, I co-founded a project called Ekmel, which is the Arabic for verb for proceeding with or to continue with something. Ekmel is a participatory project that seeks ways of visual communication with a focus on political and social drawings. The project took place in many exhibitions, residencies. Last year, we took it to some classrooms and home activities recently. And I guess the project keep extending every time in different directions, depending on the issues we discuss, the platforms, and the age group we work with. So how did Freeing Your Feet started? I guess my participation in this project was when I was reading about basically the concept was new for me. I don't think that I had read about or heard about basic income before I started working on this project. And while I was reading, I felt that I was attached with the concept on so many levels, especially as a person who's working in the art field and choose not to have a full-time job for so many years now. It's been difficult and stressing. And I was looking at the recent numbers for artists who are suffering in UK or outside UK, especially during the pandemic, and it's very scary and very stressing. And I guess maybe before asking people to stay at home, we need to make sure that they have one and they have a decent one, and they're not threatening to lose it. I still consider myself the least person to know about basic income in this room, but this project was a great opportunity to know more. After that, Toby shared around 32 answers from basic income conversation. and we thought of illustrate those answers. I will maybe show the illustration series and then talk about them in a few points.
So sorry, sir. These quotes, these are from the survey that kind of UBI Lab put out.
Yes.
Previously. Okay, great.
So yeah, there were 4 illustrations, and I'm the worst person to describe my own work, but I'll try. The concept of the illustrations was that we show part of the figure or the person, which is the feet, and imagine the rest of the scene according to what's mentioned in each answer. And while I was reading the answers, I felt that each person is trying to move in a certain way, maybe step forward or step in a different direction. And to present these steps, I thought that human feet can be an interesting symbol and metaphor for so many things. And during the pandemic, I guess feet or footprints become very active and usable. And all of these updates added to what can this part of our body mean. There must be a whole dictionary for 2020 or 2021. And my last point about these illustrations is that as much as I enjoyed reading the answers and then illustrate them and read them again with these drawings, I guess I couldn't stop thinking about what would a person who wrote these answers that is anonymous to me, how would he or she or him think about these answers? And even a person who's having a similar thought will think about this composition of the answer. You can consider this as an open question, and you can share your thoughts with the chat. These are some initial sketches. So after working on these illustrations, we started thinking about a participatory project with the same theme and a possibility of anyone that can be involved in the project. The word anyone in a participatory project can be very scary, and you just don't know which direction to take. The invitation, the language, how you will make the whole thing work. And we make it as an invitation or open call to answer this question. What would your life be like if you had a basic income? And we ask people to attach their answers with a portrait of their feet. They can use any medium they want. They can just attach an image or text, or it was just open. And the invitation, the first version of the invitation was this one, 2 A4 pages attached and sent it through emails. We put the question, the title, an introduction, a few examples from small group I worked with to collect feedback. There's links, hashtags. Toby, thank you very much. He did a great job with the editing. My writing is not, I wouldn't consider my skills in writing is good. So he really helped with the editing. The second version was this one. which was, we were trying to summarize the information in the first document, make it more simple than the previous one. And the third version was a worksheet that can be used for adults, children, families, classrooms. And we published the invitation on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I share it through WhatsApp as well. There was a lot of voice recording while I was sharing this, and translation work as well, because we shared the invitation in both Arabic and English. Yeah. So why participation and why visuals? I can maybe, before I talk about this, I can just say a bit about the reaction that we received from the people. The reaction was diverse. I don't have an exact numbers, but generally speaking, the people who shared the project with, they found it funny and weird, which is usually two reactions that I seek in working. I guess it's a great entrance for curiosity. Some people find the first version more informative, and some people find the second version just straightforward and direct, and they share their response. People who have never heard of basic income, and again, this is just generally speaking, I don't want to say that. When I used to receive answers in Arabic, they usually needed a further explanation about the concept of basic income. And I was trying to share more links that was already available in the first PDF. There was a very good article while this project was going on. It was published by I can't remember the name of the writer. Sorry, I will share the article with the chat. Who is the article is talking about basic income and taking GCC or the Arabian Gulf or the Persian Gulf as an example or as a case. Now maybe I will answer why participation and why visuals. These two questions I found very big and maybe complicated to answer, and visuals, whether they were illustrations or photographs, each one has its own effect, and when we create them, we rethink and re-question the topic. And this might be a very naive way to describe it, but writing the word circle wouldn't be like drawing circle, and drawing circle wouldn't be like if we were asked to give our own thoughts about the shape itself. The first point is the invitation was like an attempt to explore and harness the capacity of people to create participative experience, especially with issues that affect our life on so many levels. The second point is that in an open participatory project, we are not just enabling people to take part through defining themselves, but also their relationships with others. The project was published for the public, and each person or story was tagged and mentioned, and each participant can just click on the person who did the work or give this answer and get to know her or him more when we click on the mention on Instagram. The third point is that turning an official platform like an Instagram page to publish people answers, views, photos, videos can be an opportunity to empower or rediscuss people's role in a case like basic income. The First point is that the project took place on Instagram, and although those platforms come with so many criticism and limits, we try to diverse the level of participation. So beside options like or follow or comment, repost, the account was more like a storyboard or an open mic for the people. The last point is that visual responses were published as received as much as possible. And even if I want to publish the views as they are exactly, there will be still an edit that comes from the application feature itself. I'll maybe now show what we received. All of the responses are on Instagram, just in case I went too fast. I'll just add one thing. I want to apologize for those who participated with the work with sound. I don't know what's the issue here, but I'll try to put we'll share everything with Toby, and maybe you can check all of the artworks with the sound. Anyway, they're all on Instagram, and you can just hear the audio. Thank you.
That's fantastic, Sarah. Thanks so much for brilliant presentation. Really great just to kind of take that time just to sort of like share the images as well and all the stuff that's come through, and just have the time just to kind of like see a slideshow of that together. It's got a lovely experience to have with the group online. But I mean, as a project, I think you've really sort of brought a lot of interesting stuff in there that's kind of, you know, in terms of what Luke and Timothy were talking about as a campaign, and wanting to kind of open the conversation up and kind of testing the ground for, you know, what happens when you do ask that what seems like quite a broad question in terms of sort of like, oh, what would you do if you had basic income? But I feel like, I mean, for me anyway, what I was getting from this sort of formatting and the consistency that you've given just with the image of the feet really sort of like, yeah, does tie it all together and kind of gives it a nice rhythm, which I think would be, you know, is a great little creative approach there. And then, yeah, within your kind of the responses that you've got, like, as you say, like a very diverse range of people really thinking through it, and the lists of all the stuff that they would do through to kind of more poetic kind of responses, but sort of seen or read all together. I think it's a really wonderful kind of experience to have together. So thanks very much for sharing it. And yes, and also to sort of, and I think a really nice follow on for sort of Luke and Timothy is sort of invitation to engage as well, because I think, you know, we've kind of got, yeah, we've got the two sides